Recording in progress.
Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam Gurur-Brahma Gurur-Vishnu Gurur-Devo Maheswaraha Guru-Sakshat-Param Brahma Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha Om Sahana-Vavatu Sahano-Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahi तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः-शाखम् अस्वस्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेद-वित्। So this is the 15th chapter, as a crucial chapter. So yesterday we were discussing, we are comparing samsara as vriksha. So why we compared samsara as vriksha? That is the most important aspect. So that we quickly go ahead. In fact, I was dwelling upon this. If you don't have value, let us say very carefully, if you don't have a value for the destination, definitely you will not have the value for the means. Because always the value that you have for the means is directly proportional to the value that you give to the destination. So that means here it's very clear in this context. If you are not committed to sadhana, so here this sadhana means the knowledge. So that means what? You are not aware of it. You do not know your destination clearly, called moksha. Because only when you know the destination called moksha, and moksha is your swarupam, and that can happen only by samsara nivrutti. So by getting rid of samsara, not Tamil samsara, okay? Don't do that. So be very careful, or else it's a very convenient way, okay? Swamiji told samsara nivrutti, so we don't want any samsara, because all Tamil fellows will say, wow, this is a very good convenient way. So let me get rid of samsara, my Tamil samsara, okay? So now I am free. Hey, remember, you will end up in a bigger samsara, okay? Better whichever samsara you have, be comfortable there, at least learn to become, okay? So samsara means wife, okay? Those for others, okay? So be careful. So that means the samsara nivrutti has to be done, or samsara nivrutti itself is called moksha. When one can look at, when the person understands that samsara is a roga, is a disease. Because this is a very clear thread. I have seen people, I'm sorry to bring a very emotional example. In our childhood especially, leprosy was called incurable disease. And more than that, so leprosy was considered it's because of the curse, not because of anything. So I don't know. I have taught few people in the beginning stages that when they get leprosy, it seems there is no much pain. From arthritis, it starts a little bit here and there. It's not that much chronic pain. But the social dogma was much more painful. Because nobody is going to touch the person will be outcasted. So that means the roga, this is the concept, okay, the disease, the roga was not painful for the body, but it was painful for the social standpoint. So now that person in the beginning stages tries to suppress, not to go to the doctor, not to announce anybody that I am having lepers. Do you understand the concept, how it goes around here and there? So there is a rogam, there is a disease. The person knows. But the disease is not that much important to the body, but is important for the social dogma. That's why the treatment approach, everything goes round. Is it clear? And finally, it becomes more complicated. Now you know what is samsara roga. Samsara roga is a problem. Now the problem that you have, is it really, are you serious with reference to problem that is connected to your body and mind, or you are concerned what other will think? What society will think? How I will present myself? What is my standpoint? You understand the concept? Now, when this is your approach, are you not treating this samsara roga, bhava roga, like olden days leprosy? Now, in the process, what are you doing? Are you curing or you are complicating? And that is what many people look at Shastra, look at everything. Years passes away, nothing happens. That's why this chapter is a very crucial chapter. Some preparation is required. You need to spend some time for yourself. It's not that, oh, Swamiji's class, morning class, or whatever time, so let us open. Once class is over, close it, okay? Please, God's sake, it doesn't work. If you do it, it's good for me. At least I am learning a lot, okay? Whether you learn. So I look at, instead of talking to stones, so I'm happy that I'm talking to some jivas. Jiva also stone, okay? Don't worry. So better jivas, I can tell this much, okay? So instead of talking to computers, at least I'm talking to a camera. Better I talk to some jivas. That's the difference, nothing else, okay? But choice is yours. With this background, in the last class, because Adi Shankaracharya goes and on, I was looking at the book. So it's really very nice how he describes. So he compares, he gives many points. So we can look at quickly, summarize those points that we saw in the last class. So the first one was called as Mahatvam, the vastness. So how the people tree is vast, or I would rather say how the samsara is vast. So also the people tree is called vast. So vastness, called Mahatvam. Second point called Adyanta Rahitam. Adi anta adyanta rahitam. So there is no beginning, no end. So how, if you look at universe, when did the life start? When did the universe start? When is it going to come to an end? Do you have any doubt? Or do you have, only you have doubt? There is no answer at all. Only confusion. Whether a Big Bang theory is right or a Darwin theory is right. None of them are right. Some other theory comes, okay? And of course, if you come to Odisha, they will say, every now and then, this Kali era is coming to an end. So people get scared. That's another drama continues. However, then the third point was called Anirvachaniyam. inexplicability. So the cause and effect cannot be explained. Now, this life is the cause of coming life, or this life is the effect of previous life. So also the tree, same thing. So now the tree is the cause of the seed next tree, or the tree itself is the effect of the seed. So definitely anirvachaniyam. Anirvachaniyam. It should be anirvachaniyam. Then comes that mulavatvam. So mulavatvam means as the tree has a root, and tree has got a visible root, we will see this verse. In this verse it is there. So also the samsara has got mulam. So we'll be seeing as the verse comes, okay? Let us not get into. So mulavattam, so that means it has root. So it has got how and what, we'll see in details. Then comes shakhavattam. So the tree has branches. So also the samsara tree has got branches. So what are the branches? 14 lokas spread all over, okay? So that is called, and you had it into three, you can say high, middle, and medium and low. 14 lokas. Then I brought the purnatum, fullness. So actually purnatum we can take it. Parnavattam also we can take it. That is better. So parnavattam means it is full of leaves. Because why? If you observe, the tree is being sustained by mainly by what? By the leaves. Suppose there are no leaves, that too for a few years, unless it is some varieties, okay? Suppose greenery, greens you need, okay? Now what happens? So the tree will not have that much strength, slowly it will go out. So that's why the tree is full of leaves. So in this samsara, so what is the leaves? Karmas. So full of karmas. Then of course, when there is a karma leaf, so fruits has to be there. So phalavatvam, next one. So what is the phalam? Generally we say three types of phalam will come across. So one is sweet, pleasant. Other one is called sour, unpleasant. Then third one is mixture. Same thing also in this samsara vriksha, we have three types of fruits: sukham, dukkham, and mishra. Then comes ashrayatvam. So ashrayatvam means if you look at a huge tree, so many birds, many other jivas to take rest. So that is the place for them to take shelter. So that means what? Support for jiva. So also this samsara is the support for jivas. And of course, this jivas enjoys the fruit of sukha, dukkha or mishra. Then comes that we also discussed, chalavatvam. So chalavatvam means it keeps moving. So movable, moving in nature. So samsara vriksha, how it moves? As we discussed, even if slightest wind comes, this people tree keeps shaking. Even if there is no wind at all, still you can see it is moving, leaf starts moving. It's a very beautiful point. Here we say what? We need wind. What is the wind here? Prarabdha is wind. So with the prarabdha, so this jiva keeps moving. So we say, Puja Swamiji used to say, if anybody goes and says, Swamiji, I want to go to this place, that place. Because, you know, all these people will come and all this while studying time. So he'll say, oh, Shani started. Huh? So good. Exhaust your Shani and come back. So that is called pure prarabdha. So that's why you get, travel, you start traveling from this place to that place. You keep moving this house to that house. Do all these things, not because of anything, because of prarabdha. So prarabdha wind makes the jiva or the samsara moving. Is it clear? And the last one is most important one. It's called chedyatvam. In fact, the Vriksha itself says that Brishchanat iti. The definition of the Vriksha is what? That can be cut, that can be uprooted. So also the samsara Vriksha can be uprooted by what? By the help of jnanam. So with this background, when we look at this, that we have to see the quickly the first verse as we were watching. So what he says, Urdhva-mulam adhah-shakham. So how to look at this? We can look at very carefully this word, that this, one minute, the verse. Good. So Urdhva-mulam adhah-shakham. So this mulam is urdham. So when you look at this, mulam is urdham. So what does it mean? So urdham means what? Generally we say eva. In fact, you have seen, if you try to type in the Google, you will see this pictures. They are picturized. So you have to understand a little bit more careful with the picture. In fact, we should put the picture with meanings so that it will be more interesting. So let us say the urdham, the mulam means the root is urdham. So here root means the tap root, the primary root. And there are secondary roots which will come in the second verse. So primary root is on the top. So when you say primary root is in the top, so urdham has two meanings. It's not mere eva. Don't look at that way. So then you will start searching. This is what people go crazy. So who is the mulam of the samsara? Who is the cause of the samsara? Bhagavan, Ishwaraha. Now, when you look at this literal meaning of this verse, urdham means above. So where is Bhagavan? Up above the sky. You understand the concept? So Christianity and all other religion, how they are formed? Because of misunderstanding of the word urdham. Because all these small things makes a big difference. This is how you have to understand. We have to teach where we are going wrong or we have gone wrong. So if you look at only the urdhva means utkrishtatvam, that which is superior. So that means God becomes the cause and he is superior. So he is eva. So that means it will be misunderstood. We have another meaning of urdham. In fact, in colloquial language, we say, suppose if I talk little bit, all the technical words, whatever I spoke without explanation, so what to say? Swamiji, whatever you spoke, it went above my head. Means it did not enter at all. So when you say it went above my head, what does it mean? So we say what? Incomprehensible. So that incomprehensibility, durvigayatvam, is called urdhvam. So this is the second meaning to be taken. So here the Brahmana, the Paramatma, is the root of the samsara vriksha. So when the Paramatma or the Brahman is the root of this samsara vriksha, it is difficult to understand. It's not that easy, incomprehensible. Is it clear? And if you take the first meaning, utkrishta, don't worry, that is also okay. This is how we have to understand. And of course, when he says this samsara vriksha is what? Ashvattham So this is eternal, keeps continuing. And interestingly says, adhah-shakham. So it has its own shakha. So shakha, when it says adham, so adham means what? Is below. Urdhva, eva, adha means below. So when you say below, now shakha, because when the Brahman is, let us say, incomprehensible, we look at that way. Now, when we have to look at literal meaning, if it is eva, so that means the Brahman, the Ishvara is eva. Then they will say all other lokas are below. But here we need to look at little differently. When you look at durbhigyatvam, the Brahman is incomprehensible, difficult to understand. So what is here? Shakhas, branches, adha, below means. So here we says it is comprehensible, it is visible. So all the lokas are visible. That's why we say lokyate iti loka, that which is experienced, experienceable. That's why it is perceptible. Even though scientists are not able to find out yet, as I told you, our solar system, they have not explored yet. Forget about whole universe. But rishis have explored. So in fact, you will be discovering this is what whole thing, all these things to about. If you look at, when you say you as jiva, you as an individual, is it the body that you are holding on to, or body is just a location where jiva rests? Try to understand this point. You as an individual holding this body, is it you or a location, a house where you are resting as a tenant? If you don't know, when person dies, what do they do? In every language, what say? Oh, he has gone, he has passed away, he has gone away. Who is that fellow has gone away? So that means your tenant has gone away. So we need to take care, clean the house. And this house is no more useful. Now let us burn it, let us do something so that one chapter is closed. Clear? So this human body that I am having is one type of house. Now, how did I get this house? Based on what? Based on my gunas. Next verse is coming, okay? That's why I'm preparing, okay? So if my sattva guna is predominant, what house I will get? I'll get a luxurious house. If you have more money, so you will buy the house in a posh locality, great house, you understand, independent villas with gardens and whatnot, swimming pool, because you have plenty of money. So if you have sattva guna, so what sort of body you will get? You will get deva yoni. Already 14th chapter we have seen, okay? Sattva guna people will go eva. Suppose you have small budget and that too you depend upon the loan. Do here and there, manage this, that. What to do? Villa without villa or some apartment. You understand? Somehow you manage. You calculate 1,000 times what to do, what not to do. So if I take this house, then I have to now sacrifice many other things. So whole time only calculating, calculating, calculating. You know, I'm doing like this, okay? So that means, what is that? Rajoguna. That is called Manushya Shariram that you have. And what is the third type of body? So when Tamo is predominant, no money, nothing. So don't ask me. Do you know, they say very nicely, the person's address changes if there is small wind. You understand? Because the person puts a tent or lives under an umbrella. So if the person lives under an umbrella, little bit wind comes, the address will change or not? The street name, the tree name, the location, everything will change or not? Because wherever umbrella moves, there is the address. So the last yoni is what? Called Pasu yoni. And all these things are being very carefully created. So that's why one has to be really careful in this regard. So while discussing this thing, now he says, look, yasya parnani chandamsi iti. So whose leaves are the Vedas, and he who knows is the knower of Veda. So why he says Parnas are Vedas? Because we also need to look at, which also we'll talk in the next chapter, but we can see it now here itself. Because Veda suggests karma. So when Veda suggests karma, as the Parnas, as the leaves sustains the tree, so also the karma brings what? Janma. Karma brings karma phala. Then karma phala brings karma. So karma janma rupena samsara iti vartate. So because of the karma, new birth. And because of new birth, again you do karma. So this karma and janma continues. In fact, Adi Shankaracharya goes on and on. Quotes from different Upanishad, especially Kathopanishad, Mundaka Upanishad in this regard. So while discussing this thing, now let us read, or else we'll get stopped in the same verse. Let us read the next verse. Adhas-cha urdhvam prasritas tasya shakha guna-pravriddha vishaya-pravalah adhas-cha mulyan anusantani karmanubandhini manusyaloke. So when you look at this verse, it's amazing also. He says, look, tasya shakha. So the samsara vrikshasya shakha iti. So this tree's branches. Guna-pravriddha. So that means this is nourished by, all the shakhas are nourished by gunas. So these three gunas. And what are, how it happens? He says they are called vishaya-pravalah. So vishayas are pravalah. So vishaya means the sense objects are pravala. Pravala means shoot. So what happens? Long before the branch to come or branch to be named. So first what happens? One shoot comes. Look at, observe the tree. Then that shoot slowly becomes thicker, 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 stronger. Then that becomes a branch. That's why, especially if you look at what we do with the rose, that's why there is a scissor called rose cutter. Very nice. They call rose cutter. That scissor name is called rose cutter. So what they do is, the moment flower is over, what they do is they cut it. So the moment they cut it, what happens? New shoot comes out. Now here he says, we'll be seeing this a beautiful way of looking at. Vishayas, the sense objects, are new root. And this new is not, no, sorry, I made mistake. New shoots. So new shoots. So that means what? Tomorrow each shoot becomes a branch or not? So this branch is nothing, again strengthens the tree. So if you look at the whole trunk as samsara, it has a shown branch, it has a leaves, it has a root. So that's what he says, highlights. We'll be seeing in details tomorrow further. And he says, look, and this, what happens? All these shoots, tomorrow, which is going to be branches, prasuta, they are equally spread. And what happens where they are spread? Adha cha urdham. So adha means below and above in the name of 14 lokas. And interestingly, further, mulani, so its root anusandhadani adhaha. So here mulani, they are only urdhva-mulam. There was single mulam. So because it was single mulam called primary root, what we call as tap root. So when here you just this mulani in plural, bahuvachana, so that means many roots, which is called here mulani means secondary roots. So tree cannot have only one root. So as the tree is big, secondary roots are more painful, because when a neighbor, especially, plants a tree nearer to your house, are you worried about the tap root, primary root, or you are worried about secondary roots? Because that secondary roots, those secondary roots, what happens? It starts spreading, not one place, okay? It starts spreading all over. So he says, look, so this secondary roots, anusandhani adhaha, are stretched below. We'll be seeing what is that below, okay? Don't worry. So it is stretched in such a way, literally, karmanubandhini. So these secondary roots causes the action and where manushya loke, in this world of mortals. Now, if this is the question, now we need to look at in details this verse tomorrow, how this works and how we are getting hooked or dragged both way, getting hooked and dragged by the karma. Please. Om Purnamidam Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamidam Shishati Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, all of you.